Hey guys, it's me, Eduardo. What I thought I would do is that I was basically just going to do a little recording as a little favor to one of my friends, and basically talk about one of her stories that she actually wrote. The story's name is called Hope, and it's actually a really interesting one. Basically, the plot of it is this girl named Gabriella is basically like going to college, and she's got a lot of stress to deal with, and on the top of that she basically ends up getting pregnant, and she has to do a tough choice in order for her to go on and make sure that her kid has a good life. Yeah, let's I'm basically just gonna start out from the very beginning and just go on talk about basically just each of the chapters, I guess, and go on through many of them on and yeah, yes, that's it. Well, let's get started, eh? Okay, basically it starts out with this girl named Gabriella, who's basically about to go to college, but is dealing with some stuff right now. Basically she has a boyfriend whose name is what was his name? John. Basically, John is basically like the definition of what a boyfriend should not be. Okay? He's just awful, abusive, and the only thing that he really cares about is food and sex. Okay? So that's basically all that he cares about. So he's basically like a horrible person. But basically he's trying to get her to like do it with him, even though she's trying to tell him that she's not ready. But being a guy that he is, he just doesn't listen and doesn't care really. So as a result, he's basically a bad boyfriend, you know. But anyway, her parents basically love her and are supporting of her, and they basically want the best for her. And a little bit of how they're basically talking about how they want grandchildren, but she's basically like, Dad, stop talking about that. You know, it's really funny. Let's see what else. Her dad and her mom both really want grandkids, but she's basically like she's just like not sure if she wants them now, which is understandable because she's a teenager. What do you expect? But anyway, we fast forward a bit to graduation day, in which basically her and her friend, whose name is Ashley, are getting ready and going down to gain their diplomas. And basically Gabriella does a little speech talking about how all that they've been through in high school before walking off the stage, in which everybody's really proud of her, really happy for her, and everyone's just super happy. Ashley is a bit so and so. She's a little bit untrustworthy and a little bit of a bad friend, you know. But eventually she also has this little brother, I think. Let me see if I can remember. No, she doesn't have a brother, no. Sorry, I messed up, I guess. Let's see here. Let's move on towards, the next chapter, which involves John. As I said before, John is basically like, a horrible boyfriend, in which, he basically just cares about like doing it with her, which she basically is just telling him that she doesn't want to, but he basically just doesn't listen to her. And he's basically just like, I want to do it, let's do it already, do it. And so eventually she just gets threatened to the point where she actually does it, much to which she basically just doesn't want to. Let's see, they do it, but unfortunately, he doesn't really wear a condom, so as a result, she ends up getting pregnant as a result. Eventually, she tells her parents, in which they basically react a bit shocked, but are but are really cool about it because, hey, we're gonna be grandparents, yay, you know. But she's basically just going through some stuff in which she's a little bit confused and doesn't know what to do, you know. So that's when basically she gets hit on the side of her car by another car. So as a result, she ends up in the hospital as a result from the injury, you know. Let's see here. Basically John is still being a horrible dude in which he basically just doesn't really care about her that much, and she's basically just having to deal with it, you know. Afterwards, she leaves her hospital, and she's basically just holding on to those baby pictures because she's like, she really loves them, you know. Basically, she then ends up running out of the hospital, I think, and because she ended up having stitches, she ended up bleeding out a bit. Let's see here, what else was else? Oh yeah, a bit of important info. Basically, John ended up cheating on her and went out with Ashley, to which she didn't know about it, and as a result, she was crushed, and that resulted in her being caught in a car crash, which ended up with her in the hospital. So then she basically just like starts thinking to herself, maybe I should get an abortion because, you know, she's still in an early stage, so abortion is a good tactic because she's still young and the baby hasn't developed that much. Later on, her parents basically like convince her not to get an abortion, and then she basically just holds on to that picture of her baby because she really loves it. Excuse me. Then afterwards, we move on to her birthday, in which basically she ended up forgetting about because of how much has happened, and everybody's basically just like, as soon as they see him, as soon as they see her, they're just like, whoa, you really are pregnant. Oh, I thought this was like a prank or something. And so, she basically just, I guess after the party, she ends up running to the sink and ends up throwing up because she's starting to get the whole thing where she's starting to vomit from the pregnancy, you know. Then they take her to the hospital, to where she gets looked at by doctors. Then all of a sudden, when she leaves, she actually gets mugged a bit by a dude, you know, so as a result, she ends up losing her stuff, I guess. Let's see, let's see, let's see here, what else, well, I guess, basically stuff's about to get a little bit, hard for me to remember, so I'm just gonna generalize. She basically goes to a coffee shop, makes a friend, who is really cool, and he's actually married, so as a result, she makes a friend with him, and they basically just like become sort of like BFFs, and his name is Josh, by the way. So he's actually really chill, really cool dude. He's just like really cool. Basically like what a friend should be. Basically your dad likes him because he helped her with the stitches and all that. Let's see here, what else? Basically we skip forward to about the third month, in which she's basically like eating a lot more because she's basically pregnant, so she's basically feeding herself and the baby, you know, while it's in development. Basically, Josh and her basically become like really great friends. Then afterwards, they go to a store and they meet up with Josh's wife, which is Julie, in which she turns out to be a really stubborn lady, in which she's basically just like, oh, you're covered in mud? How dare you go into my store looking like that? Which is just like, why the heck would you be like that? She's had a bad day. Can you be nice to her? Jeez. And so, basically, she's a pretty bad lady, you know? So then it goes over to Josh and Julie, who are basically talking, and, basically Josh is trying to, uh, talking about to her, in which basically the marriage was basically just because of the money thing, you know. Basically that just splits it up because the whole the rich have to marry the rich, poor marry the poor, you know, that sort of stuff, in which is pretty mean. Uh, Ashley is starting to Ashley and Gabriella are starting to become better friends now, which is yay. And eventually it skips over to a few months afterwards, in which it's man, there's so much stuff to talk about. She basically is just like having these problems over like college and how she wants to be a doctor and all that, and she's getting a bit depressed and all that, which is pretty sad, you know. Let's see here. Eventually, Gabriella ends up giving up to her child, to which she's like super excited, super happy to finally have her child, and she's just really, really happy. But unfortunately, when she actually gives birth to the baby, she actually starts going a bit, she gets really tired and just ends up passing out. Then afterwards, she gets told that her baby's a girl and she's in great condition, and that's when she has to do one of the hardest things that she ever has to do, which is she has to leave her at the hospital because basically it's just really sad. She basically has to leave her kid there because because of college and how she wants to be a doctor, and she doesn't want her kid to be there during her college life, you know. But anyway, after adoption, Josh ends up going to the hospital and finds Hope there, in which he decides that he wants to have her because his wife, basically tells her that she doesn't want to get pregnant. So basically, as a result, she's just, you know, being her, you know, a complete jerk. So anyway, it skips forward to about 7 years, to which Hope has now become a 7-year-old, and Julie has now sort of accepted her as you know, her new stepdaughter, sort of adopted daughter. And basically Josh really loves her, you know, because he never had a kid, so with hers he's basically like, oh, I love you so much. But Julie's basically like, I wish that you would be better, you know. So it's pretty bad parenting, you know. Anyways, eventually Hope starts going through depression herself, in which Josh is trying to like cheer her up, you know, with stuff because of her mom, you know. Eventually, Hope eventually meets up with Gabriella, her birth mother, in which basically at first they don't recognize each other because obviously Hope was a baby and Gabriella hasn't seen her in over 7 years. But she's ended up becoming a nurse, and she still misses Hope a lot, but she doesn't know that that's Hope until like the end, when she realizes that she's basically her daughter, in which she was super excited but really sad because now she can't really get her back because she belongs to someone else, you know. Eventually, Hope starts getting a bit bullied out in school, you know, in which basically like she gets bullied by the students at school because of I think her appearance or something like that, or basically her name or something. And it's basically like they're really mean, they're really big jerks, and Miss Christina, her teacher, basically isn't very good at helping her, you know, which is just like, why isn't she helping her? She's a teacher, that's her main job. Her job is to help her students. Why is she not helping her? Which just really sucks, you know. But anyway, eventually, I'm still trying to think of some other stuff. Ashley and Gabriella have now become really best friends, like they should be, which is actually really cool. But eventually, it reaches up to the point where we are now, in which Josh is basically really mad at Julie because he's basically like treating Gabriella like poop, which is something that he doesn't approve of because she's basically his best friend, you know. So he's basically like trying to like be a better friend to her and basically defending her. Eventually, it just gets to a little point where it's basically like this little joke in which they were like, "Oh, this is sort of like a really fun day, you know." And it was just really funny because it's kind of true, you know. Because think about it, they were at like a bit of a store. They're really hanging out and all that, and it's really nice, you know. But anyway, I guess that's about it that I can really tell, you know. Other than that, I can just say the story is amazing, really love it, 10 out of 10. Hoping that it would continue on. It is 11/8/2017, so just you know when I started to record this and how far the story has gone. And yeah, and if you're listening to this, then I really hope that you will continue the story, because I really want to know what's gonna happen next. I honestly do. Like, I want to know what's gonna happen to Gabriella, to John, and to everybody else, you know. But anyway, yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys liked the video and enjoyed, and I guess I'll see you next time, I guess, if I probably can. Okay, see ya, bye.
Makinalı tüfek, çabuk olun.
We have taken objective butter.
O tarafta bir düşman hücum kıtası askeri var.
We have lost objective Edward. We are losing objective butter. We have lost objective Duck.
Teşekkür ederim birader.
losing objective butter.
Bir gözcü.
We have lost objective butter. We are losing objective Charlie.
Düşman alev makinesi görüldü. Sıhhiyeci. Aha orada. Bomba atıyorum. Çabuk olun. Biri bana yardım etsin.
kardeşim.
We have taken objective butter. We have lost objective Edward.
Sıhhi yardım çantası. Al bunu.
We have taken objective Charlie.
Aha! Sıhhi yardım çantası.